help.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the fun show here at Big TV. Tickling the ivories over there, the electronic ivories, is Michael Sallin, our host, producer, guest, and master of the Kira keyboard. I'm Arch O'Reilly, master of nothing. And once again, we have an empty seat between us because neither Susan nor Kira can be with us yet, but we're hoping to
Yes, we are hoping.
add a little more visual and intellectual appeal to our show in the near future. In any case, we note that this is March 20th, and it is, believe it or not, the first day of spring. And we actually had a nice spring-like day today. We're going to have a rather appealing day tomorrow, and then it's going to go below freezing again.
Nice weather. Weather.
Welcome to the New England roller coaster.
Yeah, okay.
Fasten your seatbelts
And
because
don't put on any snowshoes.
no.
No, they're very dangerous.
Well, the snow we had last week, you could have put on skates.
You could have put on ice skates. True.
That got so hard that I went to try to clean the windshield of my car, and I broke the end off the scraper, just boom, like that.
Too tough. What I did was I got in the car and turned it on
Yeah.
and put the heat on it for the
Yeah.
air, and it softened it underneath. I still
So
had
you slid it off.
but I still had a battle to get it. Get a
I'm sure.
yeah.
Well, let's see. As far as cold weather, I had a nice time last Friday, which many of you thought of, if you thought at all, that it was St. Patrick's Day.
Everybody's thinking.
But
about
I
it.
was in Boston, so it was evacuation day. It's ironic the British decided to leave Boston on March 17th, and thereby gave James Michael Curley the perfect excuse to turn St. Patrick's Day into a Suffolk County holiday
Right.
by calling it Evacuation
Evacuation
Day.
Day.
But I was up on the top of Dorchester Heights
Oh.
in my Henry Knox uniform,
Good.
which those regular viewers saw Henry here a couple
Good.
weeks ago. And I have a rather light summertime uniform, but I couldn't wear a coat over it and have the desired effect. So I was standing on the top of Dorchester Heights in a pretty good wind and about, let's say 29 degrees or something.
Oh,
It was kind of cold, but
you survived.
We had a good day.
Yeah.
And then when I came home from that, I discovered that my computer had died.
Oh, I know. That's terrible.
And I could not get it back. And I had just finished writing 18 new sections of my book. And
This is the new book.
I'm updating the old
Oh,
book.
you're
but,
updating,
But I
okay.
get new people, and so I have to write new sections.
Okay.
But in any case, I hadn't backed them up because this software called Norton 360, which is an antivirus software, quite popular, keeps stopping working. And when it's not working, the backup system I have doesn't work.
Could you send this to North Korea or Iran?
Could I, if I knew how to set a virus,
Yeah.
I would send it to them as a
Yeah,
virus.
they
would.
deserve it.
Probably one of the things that might successfully close their nuclear program there.
That sounds like, yeah.
In any case, I finally took it to the euphoniously named Geek Squad, and they're working on it. And they tell me that it's at least a good possibility that Norton 360 corrupted my operating system and caused my computer to crash. So my suggestion to folks for today is don't use Norton 360. In fact, probably don't use any Norton product. Now, on the good news side,
Good news.
it's
About time we
I
had
went to
some
a
good-
well-attended community meeting last week on Brookline schools,
Yeah. Oh.
and one of the things that I came away with that really pleased me is that there are at the moment 6 candidates
Yes.
for the 3 seats on the school committee.
Right.
Last year, you remember, I was very, very upset that there were only 3 candidates for 3 seats on the school committee. And what it meant was that there was no opportunity to dilute the influence of corporate education on Brookline schools, since a majority of the school committee members are employed by corporate education. The people behind all those tests and record keepings and data collection, the people who think that the only purpose of education is for them to sell software and tests and things like that, and the hell with educating children. And in other words, we have a school committee which is as foreign to Brookline's concept of public education as it could possibly be. And so this year, at least, we won't need to return any of those people to the school committee, and we might actually be able to have excellence in Brookline schools again. It's a start, folks. Look at the people running for school committee and basically be very, very, very leery about voting for anyone who is an incumbent.
And people are saying, why doesn't this fellow O'Reilly run?
Well, I was going to run. If there weren't 6 candidates,
I know you
was
would've.
going to run.
Yeah.
And so I'm not running, and in a sense, I'm happy about that.
Okay.
Because I'm 74 years old. You know?
Oh, you don't look that. You look at least 80.
Oh, thank you, sir.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
sir.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
All right.
My younger companion here is pulling age jokes on me.
Yes.
So what do you got over there, my friend?
What have I got?
Yeah.
I've got some stuff here that is absolutely nauseating.
Why don't you pick something there?
Okay, I'm gonna pick something
I'm just
here.
going to comment on the fact
All right.
that the era of rock and roll officially came to an end yesterday, when the genuine father of rock and roll, Chuck Berry, passed away at the age of 90 in his home west of St. Louis. And
Everybody has heard him, loves him.
Chuck Berry, absolutely unique and special, and had some problems in his life, but they didn't derail him. And everybody that the younger generation loved, perhaps not the current generation, but the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and all these people said that they were entirely influenced by Chuck Berry. And so Chuck Berry passed away, and that's worth noting.
Okay, I'll bring up something that's startling.
Startling, okay.
President Trump vowed to bring back the coal industry.
Good.
Yeah, with most of the safety regulations in jeopardy, naturally.
Well, most of them have already been removed by him. I mean, he is now allowing coal mines to dump their toxic waste in the water, just into the nearby stream.
Anything, yeah.
Just dump it into the environment, dump it into the people's drinking water. In Trump's vision of America is it will look like China before his term is up.
But it'll be cheaper.
It'll be cheaper, except for the gas mask you got to wear to walk to the store.
He can Trump gas mask.
Trump gas mask, yes.
Okay, that's good. All right.
That's very likely.
Yeah,
I do find it interesting that the director of the FBI admitted in public hearing today
yes.
that they are in fact investigating Russian interference, Russian support of Donald Trump for president, and that they are investigating collusion on the part of the Trump campaign with the Russians in that thing.
Gotcha.
So, and they also point out that there is absolutely no evidence whatsoever to support his bizarre, paranoid accusations that he was bugged by President Obama. And so what the most important things that came out of the hearings today is that Donald Trump is a certified pathological liar, and very, very possibly he or his immediate subordinates are guilty of treason.
Oh, when you were talking about Russia, and the FBI has a wanted poster for a Russian hacker whose name is Yevgeny Bogachev. and they have a $3
You
million
spent all that time with those Russians in the prison camp. You should be better with Russian
I
names.
should be, but I have to read my own writing. That's
Oh,
the
that's the
problem.
problem,
That's the
right.
problem.
Okay.
But the FBI is offering $3 million for real information about him. Wait a second, and then comes.
I think it came out at the hearing today that one of Trump's principal subordinates admits to having met with this guy in the last 2 months.
Well, listen what some of the charges against him. What are they? The hacker, who is the informant. Let's see. So they got both computer and bank fraud, conspiracy, identity theft, then another kind of fraud, money laundering, etc. Against him.
Right, but he's in Russia, right?
Well, we think, we don't know for sure. But then again, he could be down there on the Rio Grande building the wall.
Building the wall. I don't think that is necessarily a resume filler for somebody who wants to build the wall.
Okay, all right.
Now, I wonder.
Wait a minute. The State Department is offering $10 million for this same guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bogachev. Yeah. That's
Talking about the wall, it occurred to me, I wonder whether Trump's going to build the wall the same way Netanyahu built his wall. In other words, yards to miles inside Mexican territory.
Okay, well, that's not bad.
I mean, maybe Trump can annex the southern bank of the Rio Grande River by just moving his wall a couple miles south.
Well, we took, after the Mexican cession at war in 1848, we took about 6 or 7 big, beautiful pieces of land from them, made all these states.
Called Southern California,
Yeah.
New Mexico, Arizona, Texas.
Nevada, there's a lot of...
Nevada.
Nevada was part of it, too.
Yeah.
Anyways, then what else is here? The Arkansas is rushing to execute 8 men with a dubious drug called midazolam, midazolam. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't, and it causes a lot of pain to these people who have been adjudged as violent murderers who need to be put to death. And they've had all their appeals, and there's 8 of them.
Do you care?
Well, I'm reading about midazolam.
I mean, one state is bringing back the firing squad.
Yes, that's Utah. Utah always had the firing squad as an alternative.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
so maybe Arkansas can bring back the firing squad.
President Trump vowed...
They could probably pick up old Sparky for a song these days.
Wait a minute. What do we got here? We got, all of a sudden, get school principals more involved in schools. Now, who said this? Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel. He said they create a good school environment. Principals.
Well, isn't that their job?
Of course. But anyway,
why is that even necessary to say?
He's thinking. This guy's thinking ahead. You can't, if you want to get all the teachers in a place like Chicago or New York, even Boston has a huge number of teachers, over like 6,000 teachers and aides.
All right. Okay.
Okay. And let's say Walsh wants to talk to them all. What's he going to do? Ask them to go to the Boston Garden or someplace? Okay, but if he picks out the principals of the schools, what's he got? Maybe 150, 200 tops.
What's novel? What's novel about this? Isn't this the way it should be? And
yeah, but I'm saying that Emmanuel says you can get to these people who know the school, know the kids, and may not really be sold on the curriculum that they want used by these guys in the graduate schools of education. Well, yeah, all right. Well, anyways, I thought it was a good idea because it does make sense. You can get a few of them together and you can talk to them about things that are on your mind and find out if there's anybody there that knows anything.
Isn't
also.
that like saying a good breakfast is good for you? I mean, I don't understand why it even needs to be said.
Well, I'm just. This is a big article in the New York Times. This was get school principals more involved. I thought that was okay.
I'm sorry. I think that's incredibly stupid.
All right. Next. All right. Next.
Because I don't think it needs to be said.
All right.
And if it does need to be said, then it's really horrifying.
All right. Okay.
What are principals doing if that's not it? Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the big unrehearsed thespian societies, the shorthanded unrehearsed thespian societies production for tonight, which comes from 2006. Just for context, it was mid-level in the vault.
Yeah.
And
Maybe older,
it is entitled,
Pipeline.
fittingly for today, Pipeline.
Oh, yeah.
The more things change, the more they remain the same.
Very good.
Action.
We should stop drilling for oil.
What, and digging for gold and diamonds too?
Why, those?
Well, everybody can be rich.
No more work then.
Rampant hedonism?
Enjoy a long, happy life.
Right, the 9 to 5 days are all over.
Endless vacations.
Guaranteed success for all.
TV narrator will send us directions, huh?
Anybody can be a millionaire.
President Bush's administration has made it possible.
It's why so many illegal immigrants are attracted to America.
Well, there's the wars.
And he's lowered taxes.
Some paid more.
But Saddam is out, and the Shiites and the Sunnis just don't get it.
The mission accomplished in Iraq?
Don't tell the terrorists or the Taliban.
You mean insurgents with IEDs and WMDs are all gone?
I don't find that amusing, thank you.
No, I don't either, and at least the oil companies have full employment.
Yep, guess his energy policy is working.
Cheney helped design it. He's a vice president. By the way. Go ahead.
Ethanol distilling is increasing.
New demand for agricultural products.
Lots of new jobs.
Yeah, lots of new jobs, huh? Plenty of field work for the undocumented.
Want me to put up fingers as what line we're on? Bicycle production is soaring.
And no child left behind and MCAS.
And we're going to use the National Guard to guard the border.
Oh, National Guard. That sounds familiar. Amnesty and guest workers.
And a new immigration law is being studied.
Voter registration's growing.
And we get new respect from the United Nations.
Medicare choice for all and Obamacare also.
Prescription regulations are simplified.
Social Security fund is protected.
And the census disenfranchisement is okay.
Outsourcing policy to end energy crisis.
Replacing the Minutemen volunteers.
Free market competition returns.
With government civility.
FEMA's accomplishments.
What, are we dreaming here? This is comprehensive reform.
Legislative enforcement.
Employers' cooperation.
IRS, a rhetorical question.
Corporate America paying attention to workers' needs.
Federal pension programs to back a bankrupt company.
With court approval, of course.
Dropping poll numbers.
Presidential issues and his legacy.
Legacy, is that it? Democratic agenda winning in Iraq.
Enduring programs.
Restoring luster.
Independence from foreign oil.
Ultimatum on Iranian nuclear development.
We are dreaming. We have a new CIA director.
Taping all phone calls could hurt.
And we have a new press secretary.
What new White House chief of staff?
We have a new FEMA director.
New Supreme Court justice.
And that other nominee?
Roberts. Yeah, I'm confused.
We have a new Secretary of State in Condi Rice.
But no change on stem cell experimentation.
And we're giving higher death benefits to our troops killed in Afghanistan and Iraq.
They deserve it. Now, new director of National Security Agency.
No threat at all from the bird flu pandemic.
Well, they got mad cow disease.
Well, we got swordfish and tuna with their mercury content.
Yeah. So we shouldn't eat chicken, beef, or fish?
Well, I wouldn't put it quite like that.
Well, be careful. Diets can help.
Yes, we need carbs, proteins, veggies.
Well, how about a private army to fight a public war?
Now, there's an interesting idea.
It's not in the budget.
Well, maybe it will be in the future.
Send for B.J. Pressler's free video on real estate.
And get monthly checks from your real estate sales.
My own business choice, an ice cream truck.
Selling cones and popsicles and sherbet to little kids.
Swell for summers.
I drive down to Florida.
You'd need a new license.
No problemo.
You'd play music for the tots.
And I'd ring that little bell.
But there's competition.
What, another guy got there first?
I just trained a man to do the route.
What if he rips you off?
He could steal my trunk.
Nah, you'd check his references.
Identity theft.
Don't worry, the cops would catch him.
But the truck's a wreck now.
And all the ice cream's gone?
It was Jose's medication.
He was depressed about his senior prom,
So you loan him money to rent the tux.
and he takes a bus to Mexico.
You're broke and homeless.
You're arrested for vagrancy.
The judge puts me on probation.
So you audition for American Idol.
The TV show.
No, actually, it's the radio version.
Oh, a local station.
No, it's out of state, way out of state.
In Chicago, L.A.?
No, it's in the Cayman Islands.
Oh, a local place. Is your passport up to date?
Perhaps Dusty Photo would know that.
Wise guy.
Well, there's still the free video.
Make a fortune from real estate.
Yeah, much better. Ice cream is too risky.
Profits can melt away.
I'm glad you can still laugh.
Prosperity's around the corner.
You can't give up.
Something good will happen.
Right, just check the astrological chart.
Now we're getting, but be optimistic.
You've got a strong heart.
Never mind the cardiac conditional.
I feel better already.
You got nothing to fear.
Thanks, but I'm joining the Boy Scouts.
Will they guard the border too?
Ha ha.
Well, there we are.
All right,
took
folks.
care of that.
That was it. That was it for tonight.
Okay.
Things. What else do I have on this list here?
I have, what have I got here? I have here California high-speed railroad line. The Republicans oppose it.
Of course.
Yeah, they like the idea of electrification, though. They like that. And actually, Governor Brown has collected a lot of money for this privately. And but we have this problem with our president. He's supposed to be doing all these things. They call it infrastructure, don't they?
Oh yeah. Well, he campaigned on that.
Yeah, and everybody's supposed to be working. But he said they would have to have $1 trillion to do it properly, didn't he?
I don't know.
You don't know.
And besides, what's the point in listening to him?
Well, that's true.
I mean, it's a waste of time.
Well,
to
what he
listen to
says
him.
today doesn't mean in a half hour. That's right. Okay.
So they want to build a new railroad in California,
Right?
and that's good.
I think that's
obviously the Republicans oppose it because billionaires don't take the train. Now, maybe if they built it on the premise of private cars, like the potentates of old had, like the Rockefellers and the J.P. Morgans and et cetera, had their luxury private railroad cars. Maybe if they had that, maybe they'd get some Republican support.
Okay. Well, the Somali pirates are back in business.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
You tell me that they just hijacked an oil tanker.
Yeah, not a big one, a medium size.
medium-sized
Called the Aris. It's the first ship seized in the last 5 years.
Really?
By them. Yeah,
I know I hadn't heard about it, but I didn't know it was that long.
They beat up on them too. I think a lot of the
It's funny though that movie was called the Argos, or called Argos, right?
Yeah.
And so this ship has a similar name.
Yeah, something like it.
Well, maybe they need to send Tom Hanks over to straighten that out, right?
All right. Well, India is now a Hindu country, as if we didn't know that.
What, they just officially made it a Hindu country?
Modi, I think that's his name, the new prime minister, who I think is more like this Bannon guy who works for Trump.
Yeah.
He's that kind of populist, nationalist, that kind of thing. And he doesn't like the idea that 15% of the population of India are Muslims.
And what's he plan to do about it?
Well, he's a nasty man. This.
Is he going to round them up and ship them out?
Well, it sounds like they have ideas along these lines, but I'm not sure about this. Anyways, it's interesting that now they decided it's a Hindu country now. Okay, all right. And then there's this thing about perpetual war in Afghanistan. It had what is it? 15 years, I think we've been involved.
Well, do we count the Russian experience or not?
Well, it sounds
because
like
it's sort of a continuation of the Russian
as
war there.
We've spent $70 billion already.
$70 billion.
$70 billion in rebuilding its security forces. Of course, the Taliban have a few things to say about their security forces. And then the opium production is at its all-time high. And we've spent $8.5 billion to battle narcotics in the country. 24, and after this, we got 2,400 GIs dead and 20,000 wounded. So we have to accept this war, and there's a normal condition,
Whoever wrote this says.
Who wrote this?
Whoever wrote that says we have to accept this
As a
perpetual war as a normal condition.
Well, somebody in the State Department, obviously.
You don't know who
I
wrote
don't
this?
know, but it sounded like it might be General Mattis, who's
Unnamed sources say, listen, there's one thing I want to throw in here before
Okay.
we go off the air,
Oh.
and that is that the Obama's annual total travel cost billed to the United States was $12.5 million.
more money.
That sounds like a lot of money, right?
More. There's much more.
No. That's it.
No, there's more. I have down here that there's the $3 million for each visit.
I'm talking Obama.
Oh, Obama. Oh, yeah.
Obama's total annual
I'm thinking of
was
the.
$12.5 million, and where I'm going is that the orange monster in the White House has already exceeded that.
Oh, yeah.
And he hasn't been in office 3 months.
They say it'll be over $100 million with him.
Do you know why he goes to Mar-a-Lago almost every weekend at a $3 million bill to the taxpayers? Because that's the only place his wife will meet him. That's it.
That's very
She won't go to Washington. She'll only meet him there.
Very suspicious. All
No,
right.
it's not suspicious. That's the thing. She doesn't want to go to Washington. So he bills us $3 million a weekend to visit his wife.
And he said he's going to get the money back from all these nations who rent rooms out of his hotels, and he's going to give it to the.
Which makes me wonder whether he actually employs anyone with a law degree, because that is clearly unconstitutional.
But this isn't.
Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. We'll see you in our dreams. Good night, Irene. Good night, everybody. Irene, get better soon. Feel better.
You
We're waiting
said
for
it.
you to come home. And we will, to the best of our knowledge, see you next week.
Yeah.
And enjoy spring as it stumbles into Massachusetts.
Well, we've got 30 seconds left.
We've got 30 seconds.
Yeah.
What are we going to do with
Simmons
30
is
seconds?
laughing his head off.
Oh, in 30 seconds, we're going to say, don't you think the FBI has better things to do than travel around the world trying to find Tom Brady's sweaty, used game jerseys? Let's put that energy into proving that Donald Trump is a traitor, treason, and should be impeached before the 4th of July.
Oh, how harsh you are lately.
No, I'm mild.
Oh, okay. Now.